Hi, welcome back to the tutorial series on Proximal One, an interactive audio system for Unreal Engine. In this video we're going to be having a look at the proximity fades, which is basically how we can control the gain of the audio based on the player's proximity. So hopefully it's not going to be a long video. So in this level I've currently got two audio clips. One is a drum track and one is a melody track. So if I just hit play now, you can hear what's going on. So as you can hear, both are triggered to start when you hit play. So if you look at it, currently it's using the default visualizer, which is actually the proximity fade visualizer. If you're not seeing this, just come down to visual components, and where we've got color visualizer type, just select proximity fade from this drop down menu and you should get this. Okay, so to actually enable this feature, you need to come down to the proximity fade tab. So just to confirm, we've got the audio instance selected and not the clock. Okay, so if you come down to the proximity fade tab, we've got a tick box here which will enable it. So if I just click that, now if I hit play, we can see the effect that it has. So as you can see, the translucent areas are where the volume is going to be at its minimum, and as we go into green, then it sort of fades in, and then as we come to this sort of amber, orangey, red area is where the volume is going to be set at its maximum. Okay. So what else can we do with this? So the first setting that we've got is increase area where volume is at maximum. So if we were to boost that value, you can see that the maximum area is increasing, and we can also decrease it as well. So basically what it's doing is it's multiplying the gain by a value and it's clamping it. So that's how we achieve the effect of increasing that area. Okay. So the next setting that we've got is volume fade curve. So by default the volume will increase in a linear fashion, but if we were to adjust the curve, we can change the response of it. So we can either sort of arc it up or sort of arc it down. Okay, and when we do that, the minimum value stays in the same place and the maximum area stays in the same place. Okay, then we've got a minimum and a maximum setting that we can apply. So if we were to increase the minimum, then when the player triggers the sound, we would hear it set at its minimum. Basically, when you would be outside of the collision box, you would hear that set at its minimum. If the audio is actually triggered by the collision box, then you would have to wait until the quantization boundary, and then you would hear the audio kick in. Okay. So currently our proximity variable is factoring in the X, Y and Z axis, but we can actually disable the ones that we don't want. So for example, let's imagine that this was actually a corridor, yeah, and you wanted the audio to just fade into one direction. We could actually disable the X-axis and the Z-axis, and now our fade would just be occurring in this direction. Okay, so it would fade in from the edge on this edge, and then we would reach our maximum in the middle, and then it would fade out when we get to this edge of it. Okay. So what else can we do with this? So down here we've got some settings to control whether we want it to fade from the edge into the middle, or we can have it so it fades from one end to the other end. So if I was to just do that with the y-axis, you can see what happens with the visualizer. Okay. So currently it would start maximum on this edge and minimum on that edge, but if we wanted to change it so it was the other way around, we don't actually need to rotate this collision box. We can just use this setting here, and that enables us to do that. So another cool thing that you can do with this is, say that you wanted the audio to just fade into one corner, we could do that. So to do that we would enable the x-axis as well, and then we could set the x-axis as well to edge fading and just flip the direction. So now we've got a sound that would fade in as we get into that corner. So actually we can hit play and just see that it's actually doing that. So before I end this video, there's a cool little trick that I'm going to show you that you can actually use for some cool sound effects. So in this case, I'm actually going to uncheck quantize the quartz clock, okay, because we're going to use it for a sound effect. So just untick that. So when you untick that, what's going to happen is when the player goes into the collision box, provided you've got this trigger method set to use collision box trigger only, when the player goes in, it's going to trigger the sound to play straight away, so you won't have to wait for a quantization boundary. And I'm going to change the sound that I've got loaded currently with one of the sound effects. So if we come to the content drawer, and in the audio folder you've got this one, sound effects, and there's a bunch of different sound effects in here. We've got this one, electrical buzz, so I'm just gonna assign that in here, and I've already got the loop start point and duration set up. Those numbers are in the file name, and if we come down to our proximity fade settings, you can actually invert the minimum and maximum on it. So I'm currently using the X fade axis, so you can see it's sort of fading into the middle. But if we were to invert these values, you can see that now our fade has inverted, and then we can sort of create a corridor, okay, and we can use the curve as well just to get that exactly as we want it. So now when the player walks in, we're going to have a corridor where we can walk through where we don't hear the sound, and on either side we do hear the sound. So let's just check this out. So if I come over here, you can hear it, and over on this side you can hear it as well. Okay, now we could take this one step further actually, if we just add some modulation to that sound. So if I come down to where we've got LFOs, LFO1, I'm gonna send LFO1 to the gain, and I've unticked sync LFO1, and we're gonna click this one, randomize LFO1 rate. Okay, we're not going to see the randomization while we're in the editor because it requires the meta sound to be running in order to show that. But if we were to click play now, we should be able to see it. Okay. So you noticed as soon as I went into the collision box, we could see the randomization because that was when the meta sound started to play. And now if I come over here now, we're getting a nice randomization on that electrical sound. So yeah, you can imagine the possibilities now that you could come up with the system. So not only a cool system for like creating audio like music, but just for creating better sound effects in your games. So you can imagine that could be like a corridor and there could be like electrical cables or something on either side of the corridor. Okay, so yeah, I think that covers it now for this video. So hopefully you found that interesting. And yeah, any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you with the next video. Cheers, bye.